Are you ready for the best in Sooner football recruiting news? Then it's time to get locked in with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Whether you're a recruiting doomer or sunshine pumper, text the guys on the First Liberty Bank text line at 405-651-3439. And call your shot on the Riverwind Casino jackpot line at 405-329-9000.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Before we discuss all things football and recruiting, which we do on a daily basis here on Locked In, Mr. Singleton, we need to have a candid conversation about a certain societal phenomenon.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to open this discussion by posing you a question. How many bumper stickers do you have on your vehicle?
I have never had a bumper sticker on any of my vehicles.
Okay.
No.
Drake is running the YouTube stream for us in studio. If you don't know, now you know. You can find Locked In on YouTube live every single day. He is holding up a hand to indicate that he himself also has 0 bumper stickers on his vehicle. I have never had a bumper sticker on my vehicle that I put on it. My dad put an OU alumni bumper sticker on my car for me a few years back, a car that I have since sold. And when I saw it, I was like, why did you do that? He's like, I thought you would like it. I'm like, I appreciate it, but no, I don't really want a bumper sticker on my car. A bumper sticker or two is not a bad thing. You might have many reasons to throw a bumper sticker of some kind on your vehicle, whether it's for your employer or for your kid or for your spouse, whatever the case may be. However, I am fully convinced that if you have more than 3 bumper stickers on your vehicle, there is a 90% chance you are clinically insane.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
How many normal people do you know that have more than 3 bumper stickers on the back of their car?
One of my best friends he's probably got about 3, actually.
3 is fine. 3 is the
got,
acceptable limit.
He's got 2 or 3. So, no, not any that I can think of off the top of my head.
Don't even get me started on the rubber ducky people, because that's a whole nother can of worms. But
you mean like the people that put like the ducks like on their dashboard?
Yes.
I don't mind that at all.
Every time I drive past somebody that has like 15, 20 bumper stickers on the back of their car, like, oh boy, here we go. I always want to kind of take a peek when I'm passing them. What does this person look like? It's going to be an interesting.
Well, hold on now, because here's the thing when it comes to these bumper stickers. Here's where you think. Regardless of what side of the political spectrum you are on, if I can give a pretty good guess of what you look like based on your bumper stickers, you're doing something a little bit wrong. Like if I could see from the back of your car, if I'm behind you and I could see from the back of your car, and I'm like, I know exactly what that person looks like, and I drive past you and you look exactly like that, take the bumper stickers off, homie.
You can usually hazard a pretty good guess, but regardless of the nature of the bumper stickers that adorn the back of someone's car, I just want to get the chance to look in their eyes, because you can see crazy. You can see crazy when you see them, when you get the chance to look them in the eyes. So I'm peeking, hoping that they look back at me. So I'm like, all right, I got to verify. Is this person actually crazy? One look will tell me.
See, here's my thing with bumper stickers. I told my girlfriend this one time. When it comes to like the litany of bumper stickers, either it's how am I going to put this joke? Either it's going to be somebody with blue hair or somebody that looks like they might call me boy. It's one of those two.
Now, there's probably 100% chance. There's a 90% chance you're insane if you have more than 3 bumper stickers on the back of your car. There's a 100% chance you take politics way too seriously.
Yes.
That is an indisputable truth. 405-651-3439. That's the First Liberty Bank text line as we get rolling here today on Locked In. Brought to you by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno, family owned and operated. Fantastic pricing, fantastic service. Of course, GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today. So swing out to El Reno, swing out to Dorsey Jones if you're shopping around for a new ride. The spring game happened Saturday, Grayson. It was a spring game.
I expected a little bit more enthusiasm from you.
It was an intra-squad scrimmage that occurred. I would give it like a 4 out of 10 as far as the interesting factor goes. I don't know why they decided to throw all of the first-teamers and key rotation guys on one side and basically all of the freshmen and walk-ons and backups on the other side. It's very, very hard to come up with any meaningful takeaways when that's the nature of the competition between the two squads. But what did you take away from Saturday? What was the big storyline coming out of the spring game for you?
Well, I was listening on the radio, and I think in spring games like these, you don't really have many takeaways except with tendencies. And Ted kept harping on this in the first quarter and a half, where it looked like the offensive line was firing off the ball and moving people.
You like that?
More than they were doing a season ago. So that, to me, was my biggest takeaway. Mateer looked fine. Okay, cool. That's great. Dezef and Walker looked really good. The running backs hit holes. I think that's a good thing, because that's something we have been lamenting over the last couple of years, that for whatever reason the running backs have not been getting north and south through whatever holes are available for them. So the combination of that and the offensive line moving people are tendencies that I think, regardless of the fact that you're playing against the second teamers, that's something that could translate all the way into the season. So I would go with that. I would stop short of anything else on the positive or the negative, but I think those traits right there is what I'm going to focus on from the spring game and say, okay, I like that.
Brent from Jenks says, biggest takeaway, nobody got injured.
Sheesh, man.
Mateer can still throw the ball, and we've learned how to run the rock again. Yeah, I think you saw all of what you needed to see on Saturday. Nothing that's going to get you guzzling the Kool-Aid twice as fast and twice as hard heading into the fall. But John Mateer looked fine. Not great, not terrible. Just kind of a ho-hum day for the starting quarterback, which I think is frankly good. If John Mateer had been 20 for 20 for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns on Saturday, then it would have been tough to slow some people down as far as jumping on the John Mateer hype train heading into the fall. And I just don't know that that's the healthiest dynamic. But, yeah, offensive line firing off the ball, running backs, Lloyd Avant, Jonathan Hatton, Dezef and Walker, all showing some burst. Also really, really good in pass protection, especially Hatton. That stood out to me. I thought Avant, on the whole, probably had the best overall day of the running backs, but all 3 were strong. I think the biggest thing for me might have been just the emphasis that, and this was already a realization, but it was further emphasized on Saturday, that once Isaiah Satania's time at Oklahoma has come and passed, the Sooners are going to be just fine at that slot wide receiver spot, because Jasier Rogers looks like a really exciting dude.
He had a day.
And Mackenzie Allen, he can play, and they trust him. And there's a lot of faith there. And there's a lot of playmaking ability there. So whether it's Allen or Jacob Jordan or Jasier Rogers that's filling that slot role come 2027 after Satania has graduated, I think that's one spot you don't have to worry about going into next season. One thing that we did see a lot of, Grayson Singleton, and we had talked about it on Wednesday and Thursday leading into the spring game, was you get a guy like Ben Kolar on campus. You have Seneca Driver on campus as well, even though he's already committed. What do those guys want to see? They want to see strong play from Oklahoma's tight ends, and they want to see multiple tight ends on the field. And we did see multiple tight ends on the field. We saw 2 tight ends on the field a lot. There were a couple instances we saw 3 tight ends on the field. Hayden Hansen looked good. Jack Van Dorselaar looked good. I thought Rocky Beers looked great. In the pass-catching department, at least, Oklahoma's certainly going to lean on Hansen as the primary guy at tight end because of what he can offer as a blocker. But Rocky Beers can move, man, and you get that guy out in space, he can be a real weapon. That remains a guy that I have circled going into August as somebody that could make a significant dent for Oklahoma this fall, especially in the red zone.
No, I think so too. And It was the way that they used them as well. They all got to showcase some blocking, and they got to showcase what they could do out in the pass patterns and after the catch as well. So you look at Hayden Hansen, he got some grabs. Rocky Beers got some grabs as well. I think if there was any sort of trepidation on the mind of Ben Kolar as to if I'm going to have a lesser opportunity because of the presence of Seneca Driver in this class, I think that was quelled on Saturday.
I think Oklahoma did all they had to do over the weekend as far as making that final statement for Ben Kolar leading into OV season. And he's going to OV to Oklahoma. He's probably going to OV a few other places. But the Sooners have done all that they can do until that red carpet experience rolls around to hammer it home for the blue chipper out of Norman North High School that he belongs and there's a spot for him in the system at Oklahoma, whether or not Driver is in the picture, and that they will utilize his skill set in the offense and tailor a role for him that suits that skill set.
Do you think, or let me ask you this, do you know or have any sort of feeling as to why they divvied up the rosters like they did?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea.
I do think it's interesting, though, that you give the projected teams more of an opportunity to get, more run with each other. So I think that's interesting, but I've never seen that in a spring game before.
Was weird, man. And there was a 405 listener on the text line that said, I think keeping injuries to a minimum was the reason for the teams. And I don't know. That feels like the opposite of the proper approach. If that's what you want.
Because counterintuitive.
I mean, do you want Taylor Wine bouncing the walk-on tackles' heads off the ground?
Or do you want some freshman on the other team to try to make a statement for himself and knock out somebody like Parker Livingston?
Mm-hmm. Doug and Norman says, Parker, I sometimes don't agree with you, tongue out emoji, but I'm with you on the so-called spring game. There are really no meaningful takeaways from an inter-squad scrimmage, which was stacked to make the first team look good. Not a Kool-Aid drinker from that display. Baseball game and softball games were better sporting events, and the gymnastics natty was special. That's what I appreciate about Doug, man. He really does consume all of the Sooner sports.
It was a solid weekend.
It was a solid weekend. Roger Denny got his first title as Oklahoma's athletic director, courtesy of the women's gym program.
Hell yeah.
So congratulations to Roger Denny. Got to sit down with him for a while on Friday morning. Excellent dude. Excited to lead Oklahoma into the next phase of the world that is collegiate athletics, whatever that may look like, and definitely a forward-thinking type of leader that's going to keep Oklahoma a step ahead of the curve. Johnny H. says the nonstop music at the spring game was annoying.
I figured we'd get that text.
Isn't that kind of how it is at NBA games?
To an extent.
Like, aren't they just playing music during the action?
Not quite. They play it up until, 20 seconds on the shot clock.
Okay.
Yeah. There's more of it, but it's not the entire time. I thought the spring game, because it was bleeding into the radio broadcast, I thought the music was a choice. I didn't find it annoying, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was kind of zoned out down there. Like, I know there was music playing. I didn't really pay attention to it because I was dialed in on the action. And when I'm dialed in on the action, I'm pretty oblivious to everything that's happening outside the hashes, or not the hashes, but the sidelines. Everything that isn't occurring on the playing field, I'm pretty zoned out of, unless I make it a point to consciously pay attention to it.
Yeah.
In between plays.
Uh-huh.
Brad from Mustang says, it is what it is. Darn if you do, darn if you don't. It was spring football, and there was no injuries. Deer Creek Sooner says, I agree it was an injury hedge. Starters against scout team, just like in-season practice is correct. I mean, maybe, but in-season practices, Oklahoma's had plenty of injuries over the last few years on the practice field.
I mean, this takes me to a take that I have on the concept of spring games in general in terms of just mitigating risk during the offseason. And it's one of those things that I find interesting because obviously spring games serve some upside, but you are playing tackle football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's part of the calculus. Like, Texas A&M is not having a spring game next year. You see what happened to their linebacker?
Oh, Damian Sanford?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not having a spring game next year.
That sucks.
And it's just one of those things where you're lucky when you get out of it healthy.
The Spy in L.A. says the Owen Heineke entrance was nice. That was funny. I'm glad they did that for him. He probably got the loudest ovation of the day.
I saw the videos. It was funny. I'll say that. It was funny, and I'll leave it at that.
Glenn from Nashville says, I'm glad there's great OU fans out there like Doug. I, on the other hand, am a crappy fan in that I would trade every sport and every championship that we have if we could just win one more national championship in football in my lifetime. Glenn, I promise you, you are not alone there. A 918 listener says, at some point you have to trust the coaches. Venables never cared what the fans think about spring games because it's just a practice to him. And in practice, the ones normally run together. Denver from Indiana, on the other hand, says, my takeaway from it is Denny and BV don't give a crap about fans that can't make it there and not afraid to state it. I hope the spring game is televised again moving forward because there are plenty of folks that wanted to digest the spring game, wanted to consume the spring game on Saturday.
Yeah.
That now have to piece together the experience and the aftermath based on YouTube videos and the radio broadcast and written accounts of what went on. So hopefully we can find a way in the next few years to bring the spring game back on an annual basis to television screens across the country. I mean, you have the SEC Network Plus now. There's no reason why you can't pull that off.
Sure. I mean, I don't think logistics was the reason why they didn't do this either. I mean, I feel like we don't want our strengths or an up-and-coming player to be readily available to everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Well, hey, the Andy Bass trick play, I guess we know that's in the playbook at the very least going into the fall. We know there is at least one designated Andy Bass play.
I know the play wasn't run exactly the same, but when Andy Bass threw what should have been an interception to Eli Bowen, did you not think back to, what was it, Bauer Sharp, or whoever it was that threw a pass in 2024 on an ill-fated play?
It was not the greatest pass the world has ever seen, but it was infinitely better than Bauer Sharp's pirouette, chuck the ball somewhere into the Louisiana sky, and you got an LSU defensive back camped out underneath it, reeling it in like a can of corn. 405-651-3439 is the First Liberty Bank text line. We'll pivot coming up. What were some of the recruiting ramifications of Saturday's action and the campus experience for some of the key targets that were in town for Oklahoma? That and more on the other side. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
At Lander CDJR of Norman, it's the declaration of deals. Pick any new 2026 Ram Light Duty Crew Cab Bighorn or Laramie with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, or any new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Gladiator or Grand Cherokee in stock, and we're giving you big dealer discounts and 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days. Shop LanderCDJRNorman.com for straightforward internet pricing with no special add-ons when you get here. 0% financing must finance with Stellantis Financial for well-qualified buyers.
A public service announcement from Oklahoma Human Services. Hey Oklahomans, did you know updating your SNAP food benefits info is a snap? Have you changed jobs or hours? Has your monthly cost of housing changed? Have your household members changed? Maybe you've recently moved. If you're a recipient of SNAP benefits in Oklahoma, visit okdhslive.org to update your information. That's okdhslive.org. It's a snap, Oklahoma.
Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of taking your money. Hi, this is Will Gosney with Yala Gosney Attorneys at Law. Have you ever had an insurance claim and thought, wow, I really am in good hands, or these folks truly are treating me like a neighbor? Well, that's where we can help. We'll deal with the stress. We'll get you back to your normal life. So save our number in your phone, and if you're ever hurt in a wreck, call or text us at 405-800-8080. It's 405-800-8080.
Hi, this is Peggy Doviak of DM Wealth Management. And we've been working with the residents of Norman for over 20 years as we help them solve questions about their cash flow, retirement savings, or tax planning. We also offer portfolio management solutions to help people meet their financial goals. We would love to help you plan your prosperity. Check us out at dmwealth.com.
Looking for your next place to call home? Keystone Property Management in Oklahoma City has beautiful 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhomes at Edmond Town Center, located at the corner of Kelly and Danforth in the heart of Edmond. Plus, we offer spacious single-family homes throughout Oklahoma City and Edmond with options that fit your size, style, and budget. Find the perfect home for your family. Call Drew England at 405-368-1836 or visit us online at KeystonePMOK.com. Keystone Property Management, your key to better living.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Being a family member's caregiver can be rewarding and challenging. Besides taking an emotional and physical toll, it can also take a real financial toll. Find out if you're eligible to get paid for the care you provide at the AARP Foundation Paid for Care Hub. Developed with support from United Healthcare, this free online tool can help you search compensation programs and explore your options. Go to paidforcare.aarpfoundation.org to learn more.
Being blind doesn't always look how others may think.
Retinitis pigmentosa aimed to overwhelm my family.
It tried to cut me down. I know where to find support and where I can be seen.
Innovative research, educational resources, supportive community. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge on treatments and cures for blinding diseases. Donate today at fightingblindness.org. A public service message from the Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Kyle from Salisaw on the First Liberty Bank text line says, my wife said she wishes gas was back under $3 a gallon and then it'd get back to $1 a gallon, in which I replied, babe, that hasn't happened since probably the early 2000s or late 90s. She rebutted with, but just because it's been so long doesn't mean it can't happen. I said, it'll never happen. She said, just like how your Sooners haven't won one since 2000, but you keep expecting it to happen every year.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. I was literally going to say, is that how a lot of people think every year when it comes to OU football?
Uh-huh.
Holy smokes.
Kyle closed by saying, my heart crumbled. We got to get one soon, fellas. It's been a lengthy drought. It certainly has. I will say, it has not been that long, though, since gas was that cheap, because there was a time.
The pandemic?
The pandemic, gas was cheap as all get out. Man, I remember paying 94 cents a gallon in Shawnee, Oklahoma, circa May of 2020.
Uh-huh.
Those were not the good old days. I can't even say that tongue in cheek.
What do you think about this? I saw this text. This was interesting. Yardbird Richard says, the loud music that we are bombarded with has significantly reduced my sports attendance at OU.
I mean, there are certain people that feel a certain way about it. I get that. Not everybody's going to like the music. Some people are going to be fine with it. Some people are going to be oblivious to it, like me. Some people love it. Some people hate it. I mean, you're never going to appeal to everybody. You're never going to. It does kind of get a little stale and repetitive for my taste, that the playlists that they use before games. I wish they'd mix it up a little bit more, because you know, you get to a certain point, you've been to enough OU sporting events, you can almost predict. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can predict what song comes next on the playlist.
And ever since I started working at this station and I've been going to all the OU venues and whatnot, I've made it a point to look out for it. I'm like, okay, is there anything excessive or anything that I don't find normal at a sporting event? And I can't say that I've seen anything unnormal that detracts from the sporting viewing experience, which is a little bit weird to me. I was like, okay, like softball this week. I was at softball on Saturday. Nothing abnormal to me. Went to OU Texas basketball this year. Nothing abnormal to me. It's interesting, but I haven't found anything that detracts from my experience.
Los Angeles Junior says, does he want Lawrence Welk playing during the game? That's a blast from the past.
Lawrence
well done.
Welk.
Oh, man. Okay. Update to the Rivals 300 as of this morning. And Seneca Driver officially has his 5th star. So there you go. Oklahoma now has 2 Industry 5 stars in the 2027 class. Cooper Hackett is the number 5 player in the country. Seneca Driver is the number 15 player in the country. And Caden Penny, I suppose if you pay attention, he may be a 5-star in the composite for 24/7. He may be a 5-star in the Rivals industry composite as well. But
he is.
Yeah, Rivals considers Caden Penny just off the 5-star pedestal, but he is the number 23 player in the country. So, I mean, you want to talk about a strong top end of the class. Caden Penny, by the way, still categorized as an offensive tackle by Rivals. He's the number 4 tackle in the nation. He's a guard projection for Oklahoma. Like they think he's going to play inside.
If he was classified as an interior offensive lineman, would he be the number 1 interior offensive lineman in the class?
I believe so. Let me triple check that here. But, I mean, when you're an interior projection and you're the number 23 overall player in the country.
That's bananas.
That is bananas, man. And, yes, according to the composite rankings, he is the last of the 5 stars, number 32 in the country. So Oklahoma has 3 5-stars by varying definitions. Hackett, Penny, and Driver at the top of the class. Cooper Witten, number 37 in the country, number 3 among linebackers. And a couple guys that took big jumps. Jamison Roberts up to number 161 in the country. The Sooners quarterback of the future, the number 14 signal caller in the nation in the new rankings. And how about Graydon Howell? Broken Bow's finest. He gets a bump up to number 286 nationally. He is the number 9 athlete in the 2027 cycle. And what's crazy is, at number 286 in the country, he's still only the number 9 player in the state of Oklahoma, which just speaks to how bonkers good of a year it is within state lines here in the Sooner State. Because more often than not, number 286 in the nation, you're a top 3 player in the state of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
That probably would have been good enough for top 3 recognition within the state in most of the years within the last decade or so. More often than not, you would have been a top 3 player. Graydon Howell's just barely inside the top 10 in the state. So, man, I mean, you think about some of the guys that are still out there that have yet to commit in the 27 class here within state lines. Gabriel Osborne at number 29 in the nation. Samaj Stanford finally got his due. He's the number 95 player in the nation, according to the new rankings. Case Alexander at number 123 overall, number 11 among linebackers. How about this one? Daniel Yebbitt from UConn, number 147 in the nation.
Now tell me why there wasn't much between Daniel Yebbitt and Oklahoma.
I think just because he's a corner projection.
Yes.
As of now. And Oklahoma's got enough corners that they're pursuing.
Fair enough.
Including a couple guys that we're going to talk about in just a second. There's just, there's not room for everybody. Kind of the same conversation with Izzy Hammonds. Like, if Oklahoma's able to close things out with Case Alexander, which they're trending in the right direction to be able to do so. I wouldn't say they've clearly overtaken Penn State yet, but they've closed the gap, and they're neck and neck with the Nittany Lions again. There's just not room for Izzy Hammonds in the picture. And so it is, however, within the realm of possibility that Oklahoma has as many as 6 of the top 10 players in the state of Oklahoma committed by the end of the cycle, as things stand, at least. So what you have is you have Cooper Hackett, Caden Penny, and Graydon Howell, number 1, number 2, and number 9 in the state already in the class. Gabriel Osborne is uncommitted. Oklahoma's in the mix. Case Alexander, uncommitted. Oklahoma's in the mix. And then the other one, it's a top 10 player in the state, sitting down there at number 10, industry 4-star, number 20 tight end in the country, the guy we referenced right off the top, Ben Kolar.
And to me, it's no coincidence that the state of Oklahoma is so rife with talent this year, and the Sooners have a top 5 class. I think that's going to go hand in hand. Now, I don't know how many years on end Oklahoma is going to have this volume of talent. Like, this could be a one-off year, and then we don't have another year like this until, let's just say, 2030 in that cycle. But what Oklahoma has done is, we've talked about this all the time, Parker, make the layups. If you're going to be the premier in-state institution, especially in a state with no NFL team, the biggest footballs in the state of Oklahoma is played in Norman, you got to make sure that you clean house with your in-state prospects. And they've done it, and to me, I don't think it's a coincidence. As a matter of fact, I think it goes hand in hand with the fact that Oklahoma as a state has this much talent, and the Sooners are where they are in terms of the class rankings.
I think, isn't it this Friday that Thursday, Friday that Samaj Stanford's committing? Sometime this week.
That would be correct, yes.
Yeah. So we'll find out where he's headed. Don't think it's Oklahoma as of now. My best guess as of now, and I don't know anything conclusively, but if you made me pick, I think he's a Longhorn. So we'll see about it. I do think Daniel Yebbitt, to circle back around to him, I think he's a really good football player.
I do too.
And I'm glad he's finally cracked the Rivals 300 and the upper half of the Rivals 300 at that. Somebody that is very clearly, too, like has better days ahead of him, has not peaked as an athlete. And so wherever he winds up, I mean, that could be an interesting guy who's at progression you kind of monitor. And, if he's in the transfer portal 2-3 years down the road, see if there's a spot at that point. But just not room in the class for him right now, especially because Oklahoma did make a big stride this weekend with one of their targets at cornerback, a guy that I think, if you made me pick right now where he winds up, I'd go Oklahoma, and I think the Sooners make room for him in the class. We've talked about him quite a bit the last few weeks, Trenton Blaylock. And even though he's Torrey's younger brother, there was a time at which it didn't seem likely that he was going to land at OU because the communication had kind of tailed off between him and Jay Valai. And, he's a younger brother, and younger brothers, there's always some part of them that wants to go do their own thing. Right, and so he was looking heavy at Vanderbilt and Texas and for a time Arkansas. But Lamar Morgan, man, to his credit, Lamar Morgan has been all over Trenton Blaylock since he took the job as Oklahoma's cornerbacks coach. And Trenton Blaylock recognizes that, and he respects that. And so he was in town this weekend for the spring game, and he's going to be back for his official visit June 12th through the 14th. I'm at the point where I'll admit I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does with Gabe Osborne and Juju Johnson, especially because of the financial considerations that will be involved in those two recruitments. But I think Trenton Blaylock's on a faster timeline than those two. If I had to project when he makes a decision, I think his decision comes earlier than that of Juju Johnson and Gabe Osborne. And I'll put it this way. I think if he wants to come to Oklahoma, they're not going to tell him no. So I think he winds up in the class as of now.
Okay, so, yes, you're not going to do that. You're not going to give the new position coach the leniency to go be all over somebody and then tell him, nah, you can't be in the class. You're not going to do that.
Exactly.
So I agree with you there. I think this makes me think more of Trenton Blaylock, and here's the reason why. You brought in a guy in Lamar Morgan who looked at what Oklahoma's been doing on the recruiting trail prior to his arrival, and he says, oh, I want to be all over that guy. He was handpicked by the new guy in terms of a pursuit. So when I see that makes me think a little bit more of Trenton Blaylock. Obviously a good player. We've talked about him. But the fact that the coach has that affinity for him, I think that's going to be a really good fit in Lamar Morgan's room. The interesting thing about the rest of the corner situation is that if you let Trenton Blaylock in and he's on an accelerated timeline, is it a race between Juju Johnson and Gabe Osborne to grab that other spot at corner in the class? Or do you still think they would take both if they both wanted to and they both were willing to make the financials work? Do you take both? Because at that point, that's a massive.
Yeah, it's five cornerbacks in the same class.
That's a ridiculously massive haul in one cycle.
Yeah, I think you have to talk to at least one of those guys about the potential of moving them to safety and see if they're on board with it. But I think that's a bridge you cross when you get there. If Osborne and Juju Johnson both want to commit, I don't think there's any way Oklahoma's telling either one of them no. But I also get the sense, man, that there might be a twist somewhere down the line in the Juju Johnson recruitment, because when he dropped that top 5 last week and Nebraska wasn't in it, that to me suggests that there's something going on. There's some shift happening behind the scenes in this recruitment that has the potential to really upset the apple cart come decision time, because Nebraska and Oklahoma were neck and neck for months for Juju Johnson. And then all of a sudden, Oklahoma's still in the top 5, still going to get him on campus for an OV, but Nebraska's out of the picture? What?
Yeah.
How does that happen? I know Nebraska didn't walk away, not from a guy like that. So some of the other contenders in that top 5 as well, Miami, even Cal.
UCLA and Michigan.
Yeah, under new head coach Tosh Lapoy. UCLA and Bob Chesney. Hey, UCLA, I'll say this, they got money, and their folks are willing to spend it for Bob Chesney because they finally have a guy in that office, in the head ball coach's office, that they actually believe in. It was very hard to believe in Chip Kelly, and it was very hard to believe in Deshaun Foster.
Oh, yeah.
It ain't hard to believe in Bob Chesney.
Let me go ahead, and I'm gonna do a bold prediction here.
Okay.
If it's not Oklahoma, here's my bold take of the 2027 cycle. I think Juju Johnson goes to UCLA.
Really?
I think he goes to UCLA.
Okay.
Too much makes sense right now with UCLA. New head coach, who is awesome, by the way. Inspired donors, a kid from Long Beach Poly, and a recruitment that takes an unforeseen twist. And sometimes unforeseen means we discount a school because they haven't been as good, even though they've got a pretty good selling point right now.
I'll tell you.
If it's not Oklahoma, give me UCLA for Juju Johnson, who, by the way, has a commitment date set for June 27th.
Yeah, and that's entirely valid. And I will say this as well, kind of along those same lines. Another school that had probably long been discounted in the race for Juju Johnson that I'm absolutely not discounting as we get closer to a decision is Cal. Because they got money too. And they have a guy that they believe in.
It's really interesting, and Tosh Lapoy, I think, is a good coach. It's really interesting what these California schools are going to do, because it ain't just like UCLA and USC are sitting there in Los Angeles with no money, and Cal is sitting over there in Berkeley with no money. If they get really good coaches that galvanize the community around them, it'd be pretty interesting. I'll say that.
I like it when those Cali schools are competitive. I'm not saying I want USC to be good, but, I like it when Cal can fill that place up. I like it when Stanford can fill their stadium up, which they're not nearly as close to being competitive right now as Cal and UCLA are. But, yeah, I'd love to see the Rose Bowl chock full of the UCLA faithful again, or wherever they're playing football in 5 years, because, they're trying to get out of the Rose Bowl. I think we all have become acquainted with that reality at this point. 386 listener says, Juju Johnson definitely has a hat hidden under the table. We're just not sure if it's one of the top 5 hats. Yeah, that could be a wacky recruitment, man. And to that point, I know we've had this conversation, too, about Gabe Osborne as well, but there will be multiple schools that come to the table during OV season with very lucrative offers for Gabe Osborne because he's just that kind of a player. He's that type of a prospect. He's rare. And so, if Oklahoma wants to get Gabe Osborne, they want to be able to close that deal when OV season rolls around and it's time for the kid to make a decision, then they're going to have a pretty healthy financial package that they bring to the negotiations.
You think he ends up a 5-star or just on the outside looking in when it's all said and done?
I think at this point he winds up a 5-star. If you look at where he's ranked according to Rivals, number 29 in the nation, I think as of right now they've only officially designated 17, 18 players as 5-stars.
Yes.
But if he just holds there, if he just stays there, he will be a 5-star, obviously, by the end of the process. And I don't think he's done rising. I think he is the type of guy that, assuming he stays healthy his senior year, assuming injury doesn't derail him, he will have the type of senior campaign that makes believers out of those who, for whatever reason, are still hesitant to elevate Gabriel Osborne to that absolute top-tier conversation in recruiting circles. 405-651-3439. That is the First Liberty Bank text line. We got one more segment to spend with y'all on the other side. Keep it right here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
This is your home for Sooner fans. The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Entrepreneurs and More Norman in South Oklahoma City have an experienced business partner in their neighborhood. More Norman Technology Center's workforce and economic development team understands the challenges entrepreneurs and small businesses face every day. From building an effective business model to hiring the right employees and managing cash flow, More Norman's business development experts can help you move forward confidently and thrive, knowing that you have a skilled partner at your side. Learn more about More Norman's Technology Center by calling 405-801-5000 or visit us online at mntc.edu.
When the thunder rolls in this spring, Riverwind is where you want to be.
Enjoy classic table games like blackjack and roulette.
Or your choice of nearly 3,000 of your favorite electronic games.
We'll bring the best food, drinks, and service right to your seat.
We're giving away $80,000 in rain or shine riches every Friday in April.
So play with your wild card all month long and you could win big.
Only at Riverwind Casino.
Hey, it's Chris Plank. Join TJ Perry and myself weekday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m. with The Plank Show. Nobody covers every Sooner sport like we do here at The Ref. So make sure, from border to border and coast to coast, to download the KREF app, presented by Warren Cat. It's the best way to stay connected with the home of Sooner fans, no matter where you are. Simply search KREF from the Apple app or Google Play Store and take us with you everywhere. Download the app today. The KREF app, presented by Warren Cat, proud sponsor of Sooner Athletics.
Life is yours to spend. Spend it making more money. Spend it making more memories. Spend it learning a new skill. Spend it teaching an old trick. Spend it career climbing. Spend it mountain climbing. First United Bank. Spend life wisely.
Looking for a fun and adventurous way to spend the summer? Join the Sooner Theater for an unforgettable summer camp experience. The Sooner Theater has 2-week half-day sessions for students entering kindergarten through 7th grade. Whether your child loves acting, dancing, singing, stage makeup, or more, these camps have something for everyone. With sessions in June and July, your child can explore creativity, make new friends, and have a blast performing on stage for friends and family. Don't miss out. Sign up now for a summer full of fun and adventure through the performing arts. Visit SoonerTheater.org to learn more and register today.
Hi, everybody. Toby Rowland here for one of my favorite places to golf, the Trails Golf Club in Norman. The Trails offers great golf activities for the entire family. Men's and Ladies Golf Association events, summer junior golf for the kids, plus club fittings throughout the year. The Trails also has great family social events, monthly special dinners, plus holiday brunches and catering. When you're looking for the perfect place to golf, check out the Trails Golf Club in Norman. Contact Zane Alexander today at 405-364-3790 or visit trailsgolf.com.
We're showering you in savings during the Honda Spring event right here at Eskridge Honda. Get low monthly payments on the new 2026 Honda CR-V LX front-wheel drive at just $197 per month. Yes, just $197 per month on the popular Honda CR-V. Low payments during the Honda Spring event at 89th and I-35 or online at eskridgehonda.com.
Stock number 260422, 10,000 mile, 10-year lease, 8,000 down plus DT&L and first month's payment. See dealer for details.
Oh my Nosh, look at that view. And the food too. Come see us at Nosh on the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club. We're open to the public and open at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesday through Sunday, as well as game days. Come by and make us a part of your game day tradition and take it up a notch. Event spaces are available through the Jimmy Austin Golf Club or call 405-630-8267. Nosh at the Green at the Jimmy Austin Golf Club in Norman, your game day headquarters.
Drake Dykin conducted a poll for us on YouTube.com, where we are streaming live every day. And he asked our listening and viewing audience how many bumper stickers they have on their car. 86% of you have 0 bumper stickers on your vehicles. This makes me proud, makes me happy. Well done. 10% of you have 1 bumper sticker. 2% of you have 2 bumper stickers, and only 2% of you have 3 or more. Again, 3 is the acceptable limit. If you have more than 3, we have established that there is a 90% chance you are clinically insane and a 100% chance that you take politics way too seriously. As we turn back to the First Liberty Bank text line here, 405-651-3439. Well, actually, before we do, want to highlight our recruit of the day, brought to you by Keystone Property Management. And Grayson, after we give acknowledgement to Keystone Property Management, the kid I want to highlight is 4-star 2028 linebacker Jay Shell.
Yeah, let's talk about Jay Shell, and let's talk about Keystone Property Management as well. 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhomes here in the North Oklahoma City area and around Edmond as well. Visit them online, 405 at KeystonePMOK.com or 405-368-1836. That's Keystone Property Management and our homie Drew England.
I don't know who the first commit of Oklahoma's 2028 cycle is going to be. Grayson, of course, they had Micah Rhodes committed for a while there until he backed off that pledge. So I don't know who is going to be first to jump in the boat permanently, but I would bet good money at this point on Jay Shell winding up in Oklahoma's class one way or another. Because, and to be clear, this is a national top 15 linebacker prospect, blue chipper in the 28 cycle, 6'3", 215 pounds, out of Georgia. So he is down there in the heart of SEC territory. Couple of factors to keep in mind here in this recruitment. First off, he has an agent, and a good one, that is very pro-OU, has 4 clients at Oklahoma right now, Jake Krell, Brian Harris, Jacob Curry, and Deacon Schmidt. And so there's a lot of familiarity there. And he took a multi-day visit to Oklahoma this weekend. Came in on Thursday, did not leave until Sunday, got the opportunity to spend one-on-one time with Brian Bosworth, got to hang out with Cooper Witten, obviously spent a good deal of time with Brent Venables and Nate Dreiling as well. And this kid, man, he was giddy about his time at Oklahoma when I caught up with him Saturday night. He is already planning to be back for camp in June. This will be the 2nd straight year that he has camped at Oklahoma. He earned the offer after camping last summer. He was in town for a game day this past fall. He plans to be back in town for a game day again this coming fall. And I think this will be a kid that decides early. I think Jay Shell is committed by the end of the calendar year, and there's a very, very good chance it's Oklahoma. Did you get the chance to watch Jay Shell's tape?
Yeah, buddy.
Come on.
Of course I did. Like the kid a lot. I'll tell you this, and I watched this tape, and I remembered a conversation Teddy and I were having on Thursday when I finished the rush about Owen Heineke and how he just always seems to flow instinctively to the right place. And that's what I saw on Jay Shell's tape. A lot. To be quite honest with you, it looked reminiscent of Owen Heineke, where he just always is in the right spot. He's very good with play diagnosis, times up blitzes, not a whole lot of wasted movement on his tape. So, I mean, that was my takeaway, is that coincidentally, we just got off a week where we were on Owen Heineke watch, and the kid has some similar traits to Owen Heineke.
He is also an exciting white, a premium cracker.
Yes, this is true.
Mm-hmm. If the name didn't give that away. Jay Shell. It is a pretty white name.
That could go either way, though.
It could.
Shell, like that could go either way.
But yes, 6'3", 215 pounds, Rabun Gap, Georgia, and somebody that will be back in Norman in the next few weeks for camp at the beginning of June. Like, feel very, very good about this kid's odds to wind up in Oklahoma's 2028 class. So we'll see how that all unfolds. But we're getting to the point, man, where linebacker play at the University of Oklahoma is starting to really sell itself. And especially hearing some of Shell's comments about his perspective on the scheme and the way that a linebacker can thrive within it. I mean, he said it's not the first time I've heard comments to this effect from linebacker recruits in reference to Oklahoma. They're like, why wouldn't I want to play in a scheme like this? This scheme is so linebacker friendly. Coach Venables is so linebacker-friendly in the way that he coaches. Oklahoma's kind of a perfect fit for a guy like Jay Shell.
Yeah, I mean, because of the linebacker influence that is all over the staff. And then They've turned Kip Lewis into an excellent dude. They've turned Owen Heineke into a draftable guy. Obviously, Danny Stutzman took a huge leap under Brent Venables. I don't think Oklahoma, as long as Brent Venables is operating the ship, I don't think Oklahoma's going to have much difficulty recruiting linebackers that they want on their team.
And I'll say this as well. Jay Shell isn't the only 2028 linebacker that I'm quite confident right now does wind up a Sooner, because one kid that has long had an affinity for Oklahoma. I mean, this is his dream offer, and he's had an eye-opening experience of Oklahoma ever since he got the offer earlier this calendar year. Is Reagan Smith out of Pflugerville, Texas, Weiss High School, 6'3", 210. Man, he loves Oklahoma. Oklahoma likes him quite a bit. He visited for the spring game, got to spend time with the front office, got to spend some time with Nate Dreiling, and he's not super shy about emphasizing that Oklahoma is the lead dog for him right now. I don't know how soon he officially makes a decision. I'm not sure how soon Oklahoma is ready to take his commitment, just based on numbers, because I think they would take Jay Shell's commitment right this second with no reservations. From there, it becomes a little bit less predictable in terms of how the numbers all total out in the 28 class, and obviously much of that is dependent upon what happens in the 27 class. Like, I don't think Oklahoma is going to go pursue another linebacker right now if they don't get Case Alexander. I think they're content with the two that they have in Cooper Witten and Taven Epps. And if they get Case Alexander, great. If not, they'll just give that spot to somebody in the 28 cycle. And so I don't know how quickly things come together with finality between Oklahoma and Reagan Smith, but if there's a spot for Oklahoma, if there's a spot for Reagan Smith at Oklahoma, I should say, I think he's going to jump on it.
And I mean, he should. You want to get the best linebacker development, you probably come right now to Oklahoma. Going back to the Gabe Osborne conversation, 3-star Glenn from Nashville says, in terms of measurables, Osborne is the size of DB that the OU coaches are looking for. Go all in and empty the Brinks truck in front of Osborne's house.
Make no mistake. The largest investment that Oklahoma is prepared to make for an uncommitted prospect in the 2027 cycle is the investment that they would make into Gabe Osborne. He's the most expensive player left on Oklahoma's board. I would say the only other one that's in the neighborhood would be Bodie Sparrow. But even so, corners naturally are going to be more expensive than safeties. So in that respect, it's Gabe Osborne and then it's everybody else. I feel like we just had this same conversation maybe a week or two ago, Grayson, but it bears repeating. Oklahoma's going to make a healthy offer. They're going to be willing to fight the battle to a certain degree, but if somebody wants to drop $2 million on the table for Gabe Osborne, especially given that the Sooners already have Michael Davis and Mikhail McCreary committed, and they look to be in really good shape with Trenton Blaylock as well, they're not going to be stupid in how much money they fork over for Gabe Osborne. They're not going to get him just for the sake of getting him. They're not going to pay him just for the sake of landing the top uncommitted prospect as of now in the state of Oklahoma. It has to make sense for both parties.
I don't know if I'd say giving him $2 million would be stupid necessarily, but no, I mean there is properly pricing commodities and playing the numbers game. So, I mean, I would want to see him on my team. I would pay him a hefty sum because I think he's going to translate, but at some point, the price is too high. So we'll see.
The producer says, wait, speaking of linebackers, I haven't heard a single thing this spring about that redhead linebacker they got in the last class, Jacob Curry. Any update on him? Yeah, the reason you haven't seen him or heard his name a whole lot is because he did really well in winter testing, but early on in spring practice, he hurt his knee and is probably going to be unavailable for the 2026 season. So they're excited about him, but it's going to have to wait a year. He's going to redshirt this fall. Smiley from the 580 says, why not the 27 linebacker in Choctaw if Alexander doesn't commit? I'm with you on that, Smiley.
Izzy Hammonds.
I think Izzy Hammonds is OU good. That would be a guy I think they could go and get and should go and get if things don't work out with Case Alexander. But it might be a little too little and a little too late at that point with how far things are down the road between Izzy Hammonds and Oklahoma State.
You think he ends up at OSU?
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Oklahoma State for Izzy Hammonds.
You think Titus Hawkins up there too? I know he was there over the weekend.
Either there or Notre Dame.
Okay.
I think it's one of those two. Final text. Denver from Indiana says, explain to me like a layman. Why offer a kid if you won't accept his commitment? Doesn't make sense. Well, Denver, because you have to cast a wide net. You have to cast a wide initial net. And part of the agreement, part of the unspoken agreement between a kid and a school, whenever a school issues an offer to a kid, is, hey, this scholarship offer is contingent upon the availability of scholarships at your position. And that's stipulated in the official offer letters that they'll send out to these kids. So do you know you're going to have an available scholarship in 2028 for a certain kid? Maybe, maybe not. But if nothing else, just ease him, slow him up a little bit, and emphasize that, hey, we want to keep this relationship going, but maybe let's not finalize any decisions until we get a little further down the line. All right, folks, The Rush is coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow here on Locked In. For Grayson Singleton, I'm Parker Thune. Take it easy.